Everybody is sad when their side loses an election. But the day after, we have to remember that we're actually all on one team. This is an intramural scrimmage. We're not Democrats first, we're not Republicans first. We are Americans first. We're patriots first. We all want what's best for this country.
Welcome back to Harbor. That was President Obama the day after Donald Trump won that 2016 presidential election. And according to the New York Times, in the weeks after Mr. Trump's election, Mr. Obama went through multiple emotional stages. According to a new book by his longtime advisor, Ben Rhodes, at times the departing president took the long view. At other points, he flashed anger. He called Mr. Trump a cartoon figure who cared more about his crowd size than any particular policy. And he expressed rare self-doubt, wondering whether he had misjudged his own influence on American history. The New York Times reports that Obama and his team were confident that Mrs. Clinton would win, and like much of the country, were shocked when she did not. President Obama asked his aides after the election, what if we were wrong? Maybe we pushed too far. Maybe people just want to fall back into their tribe. Well, after his aides reassured him, President Obama said, sometimes I wonder whether I was 10 or 20 years too early. Well, let's bring in tonight's Hardball Roundtable. You got a great question tonight. Susan Page is the Washington Bureau Chief for USA Today. Jason Johnson is politics editor at Root.com and an MSNBC political contributor as well. And Edward Isaac Dovere is Politico's chief Washington correspondent. All of you, I want to take a possibility. I want to look at it from one direction. Obviously, this president dismayed, his election dismayed someone who's a progressive like President Obama. But was there in that sort of self-analysis that we're getting from Ben Rhodes, somebody who worked pretty close to him, a sense that maybe I didn't read the country, because Obama read this country beautifully in 08. He knew we're tired of a somewhat dim-witted president. We're sick of that war. And we wanted somebody to rejoin the nation, the world of the community of nations. All those things Trump was wrong on, I'm sorry, Bush was wrong on, W was, and Obama was right about. But by 2016, did he lose his in-sync sense of the American mood?
You know, I think to some degree he did, but so did a lot. He had a lot of company in losing some of that touch and not having a sense of some.
Were we turned off to globalism and sophistication?
Well, part of the nation was, yeah. I mean, we're a divided nation now in a way that we probably haven't been in some time, because you have the Obama side of the electorate that felt good about the direction President Obama was going, and then you clearly had a big reaction to Obama that opened the door for Donald Trump.
Jason, your view?
There's coattails, and then there's having a forklift and bringing somebody over the line. Obama didn't misread the American public. Remember, Hillary Clinton won by 3 million votes, but he misread how people felt about her. And that's the issue. I mean, it's perfectly reasonable. Yeah, I think people really misunderstood how much she was disliked, how much she was distrusted.
That was a quiet dislike in some cases.
Exactly.
Or else we would have measured it in states like Pennsylvania, which I said to the very end. Isaac, I said at the end, you're never going to break the blue wall of Pennsylvania. I talked to all the pals up there. They didn't believe it.
You're not the only one.
Right.
And something happened up there. Let me ask you about we know the ethnic thing in this country. We all were born to it, the racial thing. I like to call it the ethnic thing because we're all the same race, but maybe that sounds too liberal to say that, but I believe it. I honestly believe it. So this American identity, we didn't like the metric system. We would never want to use the euro. There is something about America. Was that what would help Trump? This sense of sort of okay nationalism, not bad nationalism. Was Trump right about that and Hillary wrong about that and Obama wrong about that?
We can go through so many reasons. Oh, this is why Trump won. That's why Trump won. There are a lot of things that went into it. Part of it is that Hillary was a bad candidate. Part of it is that Obama did misread what was going on and had pushed on things that were not clicking in the country. I remember the day after the election, Obama aides saying to me that everybody should look at his own popularity numbers, even though Hillary had lost the election. Well, you know, if the polls were wrong about Hillary's election and the fact she was going to win, they also maybe were off a little bit about Obama's popularity. And
well, people get tired of people. But politics. Everybody knows this.
Look, if you go back and you look,
sitcoms last about 4 years. I don't care how good they are, like Seinfeld. And then people say, I don't want to watch it anymore.
I mean, look, the Cosby Show got followed up by Roseanne, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Barack Obama gets followed by Donald Trump. I mean, we do see this in America, this sort of retrenchment of certain attitudes and beliefs. And also, a lot of Americans believe, not a lot of brown ones, and not the majority of them, but a lot of Americans believe that Donald Trump was a showman and he wouldn't be this bad. They thought he was a good gamble for this country. And it turns out that he's an authoritarian monster. That's what ended up happening.
I love your bottom lines. According to the New York Times, few moments shook Mr. Obama more than the decision by voters to replace him with a candidate who had questioned his very birth. In handing over power to someone determined to tear down all he had accomplished, Mr. Obama alluded to The Godfather, the mafia movie. I feel like Michael Corleone. I almost got out, meaning he wanted to get out. He thought Hillary would take over. He could get out of politics. Now he's got to stand and defend himself.
You know, I think he knew that Hillary Clinton would build on his legacy, right? Yeah. I think he did not fully understand how Donald Trump would be devoted to tearing it down.
Point by point. He wants to get rid of the
Iran deal,
the climate agreement in Paris, the Iranian deal, the Obamacare, everything.
It's an animating principle for Donald Trump to tear down what it was President Obama
Even
set
his
up.
nationality. He claims he's an illegal immigrant, basically.
You know, and it's natural for after 8 years in one party for us to change. We rarely elect the same party for a third term. It's just that the nominee for the other party turned out to be so radically different from the incumbent president.
But I think that the real thing that's bothering Obama about this, when it comes to the legacy, is that Donald Trump has been so effective at going at some of these things, the Paris Agreement, the Iran deal. There was a sense within the Obama White House during the Republican primary that even if Trump won, he wouldn't be able to do all of this, and that there wouldn't be as much going along with him as there has been.
Well, because Eisenhower came in the 50s, he didn't get rid of the New Deal.
Right.
That's not what people do. Anyway, a program note, Ben Rhodes will be the guy who wrote this book, will be a guest on Hardball next Thursday, June 7th, for the release of his new book, The World as It Is, a memoir of the Obama White House. This is the first time we got a real inside look of the Obama world back when they were running the show. The Roundtable's sticking with us, and up next, three of them will tell me something I don't know, each one of them. You're watching Hardball.